All right, everybody, welcome back. I am Ashley.
And I'm Janice.
And we are Mommy Mentions. And today we had to kind of switch it up a little bit. The daddies kind of backed out on us today, but it's all good. It's all good. They're supposed to be back with us, or actually be with us next week.
Yeah.
So instead of doing mommy versus daddy duties, we are actually going to do boy versus girl, meaning do we have a preference which one we had first?
Right.
And kind of like why. So that's what we're going to be talking about tonight.
Yep.
So let's get started with that. I know I had a preference. Did you have a preference?
I did. I wanted a girl.
See, and I wanted a boy. And just so happened, God blessed us with
a girl and a
we
boy
wanted first.
Right,
you know?
right.
I didn't really. I know you said you prayed.
I did. I prayed for years. Before I even thought about having kids, I was like, I know I want my first kid to be a girl because I'm used to having my nieces all the time. Now, I have two older nephews, but they're older. The rest of everybody in my family are girls. So I'm like, I don't know what to do with a boy if I were to have a boy. So I prayed for a long time to have a girl. And I was glad because I got my girl.
See, I didn't. I think I always just said I will prefer a boy first and then a girl. Because I always said I want my son to be older
protector,
and be protector of his sister. And then, you know what? Because God may have other plans and I might end up with another boy, which is fine too.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of, I just knew I wanted a boy first. Yeah. But when it all came down to it, and when I found out I was pregnant, I was really more like, God, whatever you decide, as long as my baby is healthy and normal and everything's good, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Like, I still wanted my boy, but I was still like,
no, I feel you. But I wanted my girl. I was like, okay, she's gonna look like me, which she don't.
No, she's her daddy's twin.
Right. I was like, she's gonna look like me. She's gonna, I'm gonna be able to dress up. We're gonna dress up and I got my girl, but I'm just like, oh, she look like her daddy. Like,
but she's cute.
She is very adorable. That's my baby. She's very pretty, but man, I was like, dang. And the thing is, I prayed. I was
gonna were you specific?
Yes, I was like, Lord, I was like, okay, I want her to look like me, but I want her to have her daddy's complexion because he's darker than me.
Okay.
And she got both. She got both of him. I was like, really? Really, Lord?
Okay, when she was first born, though, I was like, oh, she did look like me.
Yeah, you're right.
And then it was just like, okay, as she got older, it was like, okay, she just got your eyes. She's
right.
She just got your eyes now.
She was all light-skinned when she was born, and then she looked like me, and then I think like a week later, maybe less than a week later, she started looking like her daddy, started getting more color, and I was like, okay, she getting color.
Right.
But she's not looking like me no more. So
I was like, she got your eyes?
Right.
And like now it's just like, that's
like,
Gary's baby.
Right. All right. Cool.
Which is all good because like mine is the opposite. I think me and Danny, we didn't know. We were just trying to figure out, okay, what is he gonna look like? Once we knew he was having a boy, we were trying to figure out what is he gonna look like? Who is he gonna look like?
Yeah.
And so I thought he was gonna look straight up like Daniel, and
not the case.
And so I think my son look like me.
I think he does.
He has some of his dad's features, but I think my son looks a lot like me.
Yeah.
And so my husband might beg to differ, but everyone even says like DJ looks like me.
Yeah. That time you put him up to your face, I was like, ooh, you look like your mama.
He's so handsome. So I'm just like, oh my goodness, but I'm just kind of like, oh my goodness. So when I look at him, I'm always like, we always wonder what you look like.
Yeah.
Like, oh my goodness, and you look like this. But sometimes I feel like he has his own look too, like his own little features, his own, and I'm just kind of like,
trust me, he 4 months, right?
Yeah, he was 5 months this month.
Okay, yeah. Trust me, when he hits 8 months, you're gonna be like, is this the same baby? Because Gia does not look like how she did even a few months ago.
No, she's still,
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, that's crazy. When I look at old pictures, I'm like, yo, that's crazy. She don't even look like the same baby.
I feel like that with DJ, though, because even though, he's only about to be 5 months, I look at his, newborn pictures, and I'm just kind of like, oh, my goodness, son, you're developing, you're really getting your look, and I'm just like, okay, he's really changing over time. We can really see the difference.
That's crazy.
But it's just it's exciting to watch and see. And,
of course.
Different milestones and stuff like that your baby go through, especially when it's your first one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
because she's army crawling and she does a little, and it's she drags her legs and then she rolls. So she rolls walks instead of crawls half the time because I don't know, maybe it just gets her there faster. But she realized, okay, I'm gonna put I put like her toy in front of her when she gets tummy time, and instead of crawling when she wants to be lazy, she'll like roll around to it and get the toy. And I'm like, you're gonna be lazy today? That's what you're gonna do?
Forget it. Let me just get this toy.
Exactly. But you know what's crazy? So when you told me that you were pregnant, because remember the day,
because nobody knew, we hadn't told nobody yet, like nobody.
Hey, cancel. So that was funny because I had a feeling. So what happened was we left the birthday party, your birthday dinner, which was a mess. And we went to Dwarf's ice cream, and she said, like, there was like this kid yelling, and I was like, ooh, my baby would never. And then you said something.
I said, I'm not looking forward to that.
Yes, she said, I'm not looking forward to that. And I was like, I stopped and looked like, maybe she said talking about the future, like, you know. And then we sat down at the bar at the ice cream place, and I think you were like, Daniel, should we tell them?
Well, because remember you were like, wait, because you kept saying, what do you mean?
Yeah, I said, you got something to tell me?
Yeah, you're like, what do you mean? I'm like, what? I just said I'm not looking forward to that. Like, what you mean? And you were like, you weren't taking that.
Right, at all. And then Gary was like, oh, Nene, you didn't tell him about your dream. Because I had a dream, remember?
And I was like, what dream?
Yeah, you were like, what dream? And I was like, oh, I had a dream that Daniel like rolled up somewhere with a baby, and it was a little boy, and then like, you know, I told you the dream, and you were like, I'm pregnant. And I was like, what? I was like, no, you're not. You're like, I'm pregnant. And I was like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But I had the dream like months before you told me. And I just never told you I had the dream. I forgot about it, but that was crazy.
And y'all remember you was asking Gary, did you tell Daniel what happened? Did you tell him?
Yeah.
And we both were like, no, what happened? And that's when you told us the dream, and that's when I just started laughing, like, yeah, I'm pregnant.
That was funny.
Yeah, because nobody knew. We didn't tell nobody. We just kind of like wanted that waiting period to kind of wait to like make sure and everything. And then it was just kind of like, oh my goodness. So yeah, I guess I didn't even say how we even found out I was pregnant for last episode. I don't even think I said how I found out I was pregnant. I guess I was like having symptoms, I guess you could say, like, and Daniel's the one that told me that he thought I was pregnant, and I was like,
he wanted to be pregnant.
Yeah, he did for the longest, and I'm like, nah, I'm not pregnant. Like, he was like, I think you are. So, you know, some of the symptoms are, you know, for one of them for sure is like if your boobs are really sensitive or tender. And my boobs were just hurting really bad, and they were like super tender, and I was just kind of like, ow, you know, I just thought maybe because my monthly was gonna come, because that could be one of the symptoms too, like for your monthly. And so I brushed it off like usual, like whatever. And so then he was like, I think you're pregnant, and I'm like, no, I'm not. He's like, I think you are. So I'm like, okay, whatever. So I say get some tests. So he gets some tests, but he gets the one. He's like, this is all they had, because he went to like the nearest store, and I think he just went to, I don't know if it was a dollar store or where he went. And I'm like, what kind of tests are these? Like, he's like, these are the only ones. So I took 2. The first one I was like, no, this ain't it. I'm like, I'm gonna take another one, like, because I took one. Matter of fact, I took one at my parents' house, and then I was like, I need to take another one when I get home, because I don't know about this one, like, because you know, I'm at my parents' house trying to take it, and I'm just kind of like, no, like, I would think I was more anxious, like. So when we got home, I took it again, and the way that this test read was kind of funny, like, it didn't make sense. So anyway, I was like, I need a real test. So the weekend came, we went over to my parents' house out of town, because we was at my parents here in town. And so we went over to the coast to my parents, and I just kind of forgot about it. Like, my boobs still kind of hurt, but I just kind of forgot about it. And we said when we got back, we were going to get one. We went to Solvang, we hung out, all this stuff. And you know the crazy thing is, they had like this beef jerky store in Solvang, and they have all these different flavor beef jerky, like, And I was like, oh. And they had this pickle and something else.
Don't tell me you got that one.
I did, just because I thought it was just because I wanted to try it. Like, I didn't think nothing of it. Yeah. And then I kind of got in the car. I said, hey, I got this pickle. Do you think this means anything? Like, I'm like, I kind of just really wanted to try it. I got other flavors.
That sounds so
but, it was actually good.
Yeah, because you was pregnant.
Well, I don't know how it tastes now because, and so I got that. Still didn't think nothing of it. We had a good weekend, came back home. And so it was actually right before the weekend right before Christmas. Mm-hmm. And so we came back home. We both forgot. We ran errands while we were, when we got off the freeway. We ran errands, went Christmas shopping, and then we came home. And when we pulled into the driveway, my boob started hurting again. Like, I was like, oh, my boob. I said, and we both looked at each other, oh, man, we're supposed to go get a test. So we went to Walgreens, got a test, came home, took the test, and I was like, looking, and one line was there, and then I was watching, and it was like, and so I'm like, okay, no, I'm not. And then I looked, it's like the second line was like slowly coming in, and I was like, oh my goodness. And so I'm all, damn. And so I called him because I said, am I tripping or is there a second line? Like, do you see this faint line right here? He was like, no, there's a line. And I was like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So the longer I let it sit, that line came right on in, and it was like,
done. You didn't wait the 3 minutes for the whole thing.
I thought I did. I thought I waited the 3 minutes, but I guess I didn't. But by the time, as long as it there, both lines were there, and I was like, oh my gosh, I was shocked, but I was really excited. Yeah. Like, I guess I was like, yeah, we were both excited. Like, oh my goodness. And so he thought automatically I was supposed to call my mom and tell her and tell my dad. And I was like, no, I was like, we just gotta go to the doctor. We gotta make sure. Like, I'm like, I don't want to tell nobody until we're for sure. Right. And so that's what we ended up doing. So we had found out like right before, it was like 3 days before Christmas, I think. Yeah. And so that's how I found out. But
so it was after the Christmas party that you found out.
Yes. So I think I was actually pregnant at the Christmas party.
That's funny.
Because I actually my boobs actually started hurting like the very next day after the Christmas party.
Oh, wow.
And so I was just kind of thinking like, and then that's when Daniel was like, I think you're, and I'm like, no, I'm not. Like, I'm like, I just think it's, my period's about to start.
I'm done.
And no. And I wasn't. And so, that wasn't the case. It was because I was pregnant. But we were excited, and so from then, like, Daniel already knew we were going to have a boy. Yeah. Like, you guys
already had he's a junior, so you already had a name picked out.
Yeah, for sure. So we already had a name. And so, what we always said, like, when we have a kid, like, whether it's a boy or a girl, we were for sure just going to name it after Daniel, because he wanted to have his first boy. I'm like, I don't mind. Okay, fine. But he's like, I'm going to have a boy anyway, and I'm like, okay, I hope so. Like, I want a boy, too, and God bless that we ended up having our boy. So yeah, he's a junior. Yeah. So
and Gia has Gary's initials because he was like, my son doesn't have my initials, and I was like, he's got your middle name. He was like, it's not the same. And I was like, okay, well, we can do your initials. That's fine. So she has his initials. Her middle name is Gary's middle name and my mom's middle name put together. Okay. And the funny thing is, so the last episode I said I didn't get to do anything. I actually had a gender reveal, which you were at. Oh yes. And that, I wish I could insert the clip. If we can, I'm gonna send it to you. But so we did the smoke.
I have that video.
We do. Everyone was busting up laughing at it. So, so we did the little smoke things or whatever, and I had one, and Gary had one, and my friend Erin, she lit them, right? And so it takes so long for the color to come out.
It does.
It was like, it was white, and then it came out like a greenish looking.
It looked like it was turning purple blue for a second.
They was like, it's a boy. And I was like, no. I'm sitting there mad, like, it's not a boy. And then it turned purple, and I like jumped. I jumped so high, and then I'm like circling Gary with the stuff, and you just see this big old pink cloud around him, and he's like staring at the stick like, I know this ain't pink. Like, I know this ain't pink. And everyone was like, I saw a girl.
Because even in that, because I don't know, when I recorded and I saw the smoke come out and it looked like it was turning blue.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my goodness, it's a boy. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, she's supposed to be so mad.
I was going to be so mad. Now, the funny thing is a lot of people, like, I'm on Twitter, so there's a lot of people that are like, oh, well, as long as the baby's healthy, but, like, I feel like it's okay to have a preference. Like,
yeah,
you know
have
a
preference for sure. But I feel, yeah, you have a preference without a doubt.
Right.
But I think to me, I think it's when you find out, because I've seen it where some people said that they found out that they were having like the opposite sex and they were just like so upset.
Yeah.
And I
saw one girl, she like her little gender reveal thing, she like she like stormed off and one girl like threw something and another girl like tipped the table over. I'm like, it's not that serious. It's really not that serious.
No.
But it's okay to like be disappointed because you wanted
a
girl or a boy and you not getting what you want.
Right, but don't be that mad and stuff. Like, I just feel like, yes, it's perfectly fine to have a preference because people have preferences.
Exactly.
Like, you know, and obviously if you end up having like the opposite than what you wanted, like then it's kind of like, man, I kind of want it, but you know what? My baby's healthy, we're good. I'm still enjoying this pregnancy. Next time, let's try it again.
If I had a boy, I still would have, loved my baby. That would have been my baby. Now, the funny thing is, Gary was like, well, I want a boy first. And I'm like, you already have a son.
Right.
He's like, no, but I want a boy from you first. I said, oh, it don't work that way. He's like, no, I'm sorry. You can't do that. And then like his family, so his family is like all boys. His oldest niece is in her 20s, and then his youngest niece is 18. So it's like Gia is the first girl on their side of the family in 18 years. So his mom was like, you ruined the tradition. I said, your son did that. No, we get along. We get along, but she was joking with me. She was like, you ruined it. You ruined the tradition. We're supposed to have boys. I was like, I don't determine the gender. I'm sorry. I don't determine the gender. That's all him. She started laughing. And his dad is so funny. He's like, that's my baby. That's my baby. And then my dad's like, that's my baby. That's my baby. I'm like, oh my goodness. My dad, though, when he found out that I was having a girl, he was like, man, where my boys at? Like,
I know you guys do have a lot of girls.
All we have is girls on my side of the family. My oldest nephew is 14, and then my youngest nephew is like 11 or 12. I don't know.
Dang.
But yeah, so I'm like, my dad, he's like, he wants his boys.
Next one.
You're right. The next, it might not be from this child, but the next one. I honestly think I'm gonna have another girl, but
what? You think so?
I really do. My brother has 2 girls. My sister has a girl. She's pregnant with a girl. My oldest brother has 2 boys and a girl. So I feel like my next child, I know that it determines it's from the male, but I just feel like God was like, girl, you need girls in your life.
Oh my goodness.
That's how I feel, but don't tell him that.
Well, I think he's gonna watch this.
I know.
I think he already knows right now.
Sorry, man. I'm not praying for a certain gender this time. I just feel like God's gonna be like, you need a girl.
Yeah, you know what? And I kind of feel like if I end up having like another one, I did say if because I'm just right now. I'm just like,
right.
And I'm saying I'm not, but it'll be like down the line. But I feel like I would end up having like another boy. And Daniel thinks it's gonna be another boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And to be honest with you, I wouldn't even be disappointed if it was another boy. If I had a little girl, I'd be fine with that too. And so it's just kind of like either way. I think either way.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I have my boy first, and I don't know. I guess it would be cool to have like a little girl. I
just said I wanted at least one girl. I said, but once I have my girl, I was like, you can have as many boys as my body can handle. I said, but I just want my girl.
Well, you got
her. I got her, and now I'm like, you can have your boy if you want to.
It's on you.
Yeah, that was on you, shoot. But she is such, and it's not fair because both of his kids are daddy's kids. Like his son is a daddy's boy. Gia is a daddy's girl.
Yeah,
she is. If her daddy gets up and walks out the room, she's like, where you going? Like, baby's like, where you going? He cannot leave the room. Like, she is a daddy's girl.
I mean, she already got him wrapped around Her finger.
He be telling her she's only 8 months, and he's talking about, Daddy gonna get you this, that. What kind of car you want, girl? See? I'm like, she's 8 months old. You talking about getting her an old school car and all this stuff? Like, okay, she's gonna be able to get whatever she want out of him when she get older.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but just wait till she hit them teen years, though. That's a whole nother story.
I'm not looking forward to that.
That's a whole nother story.
Mm-hmm. No, thank you.
Because when everybody kind of you were pregnant, all the guys were.
I know.
You saying
all of them, all her uncles was like, oh, I'm gonna get this gun. I'm gonna get this. Oh, she ain't gonna be able to do nothing. And then I'm like, my poor baby. And like all her cousins are. She's the youngest, so all her male cousins are older than her. So it's like.
All bad.
She ain't gonna be able to get away with nothing. Especially in our city.
No, heck
everybody knows her daddy.
Everybody.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, and it's so small.
Exactly.
Your last name is what?
Right.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I know your daddy.
And your grandpa.
Right.
And your uncles.
Exactly.
And your cousins. Okay, never mind. No, I wasn't here.
Exactly. That's the bad thing about being a girl sometimes. Girls can't get away with as much as boys can.
Not at all.
And
we just kind of jacked up.
Right. Right. But
I think, you know what? I don't know. It's just... Okay, we're going to do a little interaction for this one, too. Because we want to know. We want you guys to comment and tell us.
Down below.
Did you have a preference when you were pregnant with your firstborn? Or even if it wasn't your firstborn, if you were like, you know what, I don't want any girls, I want all boys. Or I don't want any boys, I want all girls.
Right.
What was your preference when you got pregnant and you found out you were pregnant? Did you have a preference? Did you want a boy or did you want a girl? And why?
And did you get what you wanted?
Right. And if you did, obviously we know you were for sure excited, but if you did not, what was your reaction to it?
Was it negative?
Right.
Was it good?
Like, tell us. We want to get some interaction going on, so you can drop your comments below here on YouTube. Also, drop your comments below on Instagram.
Yeah.
Send us messages, even on Twitter. Excuse me. Can't even talk right now. But even on Twitter, put your comments. Let us know.
You can send us emails too at mommy.mentions@gmail.com.
Correct.
You can tell us your story and we'll read them. We'll react to them however you want us to do. That way we can get a little bit more interaction and connect with you guys through our podcast. So
yeah, we're gonna actually do some more interactions, kind of like some Q&As, like on Instagram.
So make sure you follow us on Instagram at mommy.mentions, and Twitter is mommymentions.
And then if you have any questions, don't forget to submit those as well. Even if it's not on this topic.
Sorry, I have a question about this topic.
Yeah.
How did you feel when DJ had to get circumcised?
Oh, girl, I cried.
Yeah? Because I didn't...
Nobody's...
Because I didn't think about that, about the whole not wanting a boy thing. Mm-hmm. I was just like, I just want a girl, but... I have a friend that has 2 boys. Well, I have several friends that have boys, and I'm like, dang, they had to get circumcised. I didn't even think about that. Like, I probably would have been like, nope, don't. You're not doing anything to my child.
Okay, so this is what happened. So initially, we were supposed to go. Well, we went for it the very next day after we got to the hospital. The very next day, we went to his appointment, and then they were talking about the circumcision to get it scheduled, and so it was supposed to be that following week. But because DJ. He was gagging and choking a lot because I didn't know when you have a C-section that a lot of the fluid that's usually pushed out when you have a vaginal birth, obviously it's not pushed out through a C-section. So a lot of times it's still like in the baby's system. So a lot of times that's why they gag a lot.
Right.
Obviously we didn't know this information, but so I was kind of already worried about that. And so I'm like, I'm not trying to put him through nothing else. I was real nervous. I cried. So what I did was I postponed it to like the following week.
Oh, okay.
And so we took him the following week. I cried. I was nervous the day before and stuff. My mom was like, he's going to be fine. Like, and so, but you know, it's first baby. It's a boy. Like, I'm like, oh my goodness. And in my head, I was thinking, I didn't think about this when I said I wanted a boy.
Right. Exactly. No one thinks about that really.
But it actually went really well, thank God. And so, when he got out, like, you know, sometimes they say that, they say that, like, the baby might be fussy. Right. And they just made sure that we had, like, the baby time for infants and all that stuff. And so I was just really happy too that my mom was here to help us, because I was just like, okay, this is what they said and this and that. And I was like so nervous, you know, because you have to be careful how you change your diaper.
Right. Make sure that you put the Vaseline on.
Yeah, do the Vaseline. Yeah. Well, actually, you can't put nothing on that part for a little bit, so you have to put everything like around.
Gotcha.
But it was just kind of more. But then I cried.
I would have too. I would have been like, no. I would have made Gary. If we had a boy, I would have been like, you have to go in there. I can't.
Well, they didn't let neither one of us go.
What? Excuse me?
They didn't let neither one of us go.
Heck no.
Back there with him. And it was okay because, you know, I was like, I can't watch it.
I would have at least needed.
I'm like, did they do something wrong or do something? I don't want to be like, ah. And I was like, let me just. So I just prayed.
Is that like normal or is that because of COVID?
No, I think it's normal because when they did. Wait. Hold on. I take that back. I went. Sorry.
You done blocked it out your memory.
I forgot. Because I'm like, wait, I went back there with him for something. And I'm like, it was a circumcision. Yeah, I did go back there. They took him in and then I just stood outside the door through the window and I could see it.
Okay, yeah.
And it was actually pretty fast. It wasn't that long.
Mm-hmm.
I thought. Because I'm trying to think, did he go for something else? My memory is so bad. I don't blame it on mommy brain.
Right.
I really can't remember. But I think I did because I think me and Daniel talked. Like, I was like, you should go. Because I thought he should go because he's dad. And then Daniel was like, nah, I think you should go because he knows how I am about stuff. Like, if they do something a certain way or something, he knows that I'm very particular. Mm-hmm. And so he's like, I think you should go. And I was like, okay. And I'm like, man, I really wish you were going to go this time. I was like, okay, but I'm going to go. And you know what? I think I did go. I did. And I just watched through the window.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I don't think I wasn't thinking about that when I was like, oh, I want a girl. I wasn't thinking like, oh, I don't want a boy because of circumcisions and all. I was just like, I just want a girl. But if I had a boy, I probably would have been like you, like, I need to watch. I need to, or send Gary back there. Like, you need to go make sure they're good because I probably like, don't hurt my baby.
See, I'd have been real nervous. I was like nervous, like, how did he, and what, let me take that back. Okay, so, sorry guys. I just remember, because I'm like, why
the mommy brain.
I did not go back there for his circumcision. I went back there for, they said that he kind of was tongue-tied.
Oh, they had to clip his tongue?
They had to clip.
Okay, and it was some clip.
Right, that's what I went back there for. And I'm like, why did I go? I'm like, because then I remember, because for a circumcision, I remember us sitting in the room waiting.
Oh, okay.
And we were like, hoping we didn't hear him crying.
Yeah.
And so we heard some other babies. We was like, oh, that's not DJ. Like, we know he's crying that event. But we did not. They did not let us go back there. That's why I said we were okay with it, because it was just kind of like, I didn't want to watch my baby go through that or hear him crying, because then I would have started crying. Mm-hmm. I would have felt bad. But when he did get his tongue clipped, I did. He had to get the bottom of it clipped. They told us in the hospital that they saw it, and I figured, okay, I might have that the same thing.
Okay, yeah.
They saw that I was tongue tied when I was a baby, so they had to clip mine too. Mm-hmm. So I was kind of like, oh, okay, but yeah, that's what I went back there for. But
yeah,
and I know a lot of people have their thoughts on that too.
Yeah, on the circumcision.
And it's because I know a lot of people, they don't want to see their baby go through that. Or some people are just like, I want my baby to have their choice, their preference, and this and that.
Shoot, when they get older, by the time it's their choice,
it's too late.
No,
well, not too late. Well, no, you know what I mean.
I personally know someone that ended up, their mom, well, he's older than me, but he's my godbrother. Their mom gave him a circumcision. How old was he? Like 9, 8? He was older. Oh. He was older. And, like, there's, like, a picture of him, like, sitting with ice in his lap. And he just looks so miserable. But I was like, why would you wait so long?
That's a long time.
Like, he was able to walk, talk, and, like, all this stuff. And
he in school already, 8 and 9.
Exactly. I was like,
oh, poor
baby.
Oh,
no. But, yeah, I was like, that I don't think I could do that.
See, because they say that there's so many other things, too, about, like, if you don't do it, like, the cleaning and all that stuff is more... And I'm like, no, I don't want to put my son through that.
Right.
And so me and my husband had the conversation and stuff, and I'm like, he needs to have it done. Like, that's our preference. So that's why we did it. But yeah, I cried. I really did. And hey.
I think I remember you texting me and was like, we're taking DJ to get a circumcision.
Yeah. But you know what? And he actually did really good. I thank God for that too, because he did really good.
That's good.
He wasn't fussy afterwards. Maybe a little bit, but not too much. And then he just kind of slept a little bit afterwards, which understandable.
Yeah.
And then plus because we gave him the Tylenol too, but he was just chill. There was nothing. But I was like so nervous to change the diapers though. So
yeah.
Oh, well, I saw you went into Gia to get her ears pierced.
I cried.
I
cried.
Oh, poor baby.
I cried. She was like not having it.
She was chilling at first, and then it was just all of a sudden like when she felt that, it was just kind of like she went for it.
And then she was because I was recording because Gary was holding her, and the lady was like, "You have to hold her body, hold her arms, and hold her head." He was holding her with
no problem,
right? And I was just like, and she was kind of looking like, "What's going on?" And then the lady. And then we had his son, and his son was like, "Dad, what are those?" And it was the guns. And he was like, "Oh, it's the guns for her piercings for her ears." And he almost started crying. And I was just like, "Oh, dang, they really about to pierce my baby's ears." So then I told him, I was like, "Hold the phone and play Elmo for her so she can be distracted." And so the lady, like, we got the exact spot, and she did it the first time, and then it was like delayed, and then Gia just started screaming.
I know,
like Mariah Carey screaming, and then she was trying to get to me, and I felt bad because I'm recording, but I'm like, I want to grab my baby, and then so they did the second one, and then she like cleaned them off a little bit, and Gia was trying to fight, like trying to get her arms out, trying to fight the lady to get off of her. And Gary was like holding her, and I was like, "Give me my baby, like give me my baby." So he gave it to me, and like we calmed her down, and then she slept for a little while after that. But I was just like, oh, no, like I didn't think about it.
Where did you guys take her to get it?
There's a place in the mall. I forgot the name of it.
She ain't gonna want to go to the mall.
Right, at all.
Not right now.
Bribe the baby to go to the mall.
She gonna look at the place like, wait, I know this place.
Right.
She'll start crying.
So there's a place in the mall. I don't remember the name of it, but I think because they asked me, they were like, "Do you want to do like one ear at a time, or do you want someone on each ear to do them at the same time?" And at first I was like, "Oh, we can do each ear, that we can get it out the way." But they're like, "Oh, well, we'd have to reschedule for a different day because we only have one piercer." And I was just like, "Okay," but that kind of like made me feel better because in my head I'm like, okay, you have people designated to pierce ears,
right?
Whereas other places just in the mall, it's kind of like they showed you once.
Oh,
like, you know what I mean? Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I can do it.
I just did the one, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like they really hurt my baby. I cried, like I really did cry. And Gary was like, "Are you crying?" I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, I remember. I think I took you back. I said, I almost got some
right.
watery.
I know. I sent the video to my parents, and my dad was like, "What you do to my baby?" I was like, "I'm so sorry."
She was for real. She saw her. You saw her eyes turn to the side. Like, what you doing?
I felt bad, but
it's all good. Yeah,
we're gonna get her some new earrings soon, since we can change them out now.
Oh, see.
And we got her ears pierced at 5 months, but
dang, was it 5 months?
Yeah, but we had to like fabricate and say that she was 6 months because they only took 6-month-old babies. And I was like, I'm not gonna wait. Like,
was she only 5 months?
She was only 5 months.
Why do I feel like it was just recently?
5 months, 3 months ago.
Oh wow!
But yeah,
no. Okay, well, see, everybody has a preference, but then it's like you always got to go through something with whether you have a boy or a girl.
Yeah.
So that's kind of why we want to know what you guys. What your thoughts are.
Yeah. So if you have boys, did you guys get them circumcised? Did you decide not to? If you had a girl, were you going to, like, did you guys get their ears pierced early? Or were you going to, like, wait and let them decide if they wanted their ears pierced later on in life?
See, I don't have my ears pierced.
Yeah, but you have a reason why you can't get yours.
Yeah, I know. But I'm just saying, like, and that's probably a reason why I probably wouldn't have got mine. If I had a girl, I probably wouldn't because I'll be worried, like, she'll keloid. So then I'll be, that'll be like a whole nother thing.
Black people are more susceptible to keloids too, so kind of makes sense.
And see, I should have known. But you know what? Okay, so my brother pierced. My brother and my niece's mom pierced her ears. But I think she was older. I don't think she was little though, because my brother was hesitant too because he didn't know if she was going to keloid.
Right.
But she didn't, thank God. she has her ears pierced and she's fine, but she just can't wear like fake jewelry, like
right,
break her out. So, but other than that, she's fine. And I had a bad experience because I did wait till I was older to get my ears pierced, and I shouldn't have did it because I think it was probably because the earrings probably were not legit real.
Oh yeah.
More than me actually piercing my ears, but yeah, I ended up getting infected and all that stuff, and so yeah. I prayed real good. So say, Lord, if you just bless these, just go down, because I started having like little knots, and I was like, if these just go away, I promise I won't mess with these piercings no more. I sure did, and God bless it, like shoot, they just down. I'm like, nah, I'm cool. I'll give me some good clip-ons if I need to. But
so for the kids, did you have names, other than DJ, or like did you have girl names if you were to have a girl?
We did, but we kind of had to switch it. We could kind of decide to switch it up. It was still gonna be after, named after Daniel. Like, so it'd be like a girl. We went through a list, and so we was like, we want something kind of different. Mm-hmm. And so there was a name that came up, it was like Danny Lynn, and I'm like, it's not a name we probably would usually choose, but we're like, it's actually kind of different. Yeah. And I'm like, they wouldn't know if she didn't know what race she was.
Right,
you know?
Exactly.
And we wanted to do no outrageous, crazy name. And so my mom did not like that name either. She was all criticizing. She was like, I hope you have a boy, because I was like, you know what? So, but we did. We had I don't remember the other ones though. We had like a few names that we went through. It was just kind of do something instead of something, more common names. Yeah. For a girl, but we actually ended up kind of almost having a different name for DJ too. But we were like, no, it's gonna be DJ because he's the first boy. But we had thought about Ashton too for a boy.
That's cute.
And so if we have another boy,
one, probably be Ashton.
It's gonna be Ashton. Yeah. So that's cute. We had a couple of names picked out, but no long list. Did you guys have?
I had a list. I had a list of girl names.
You know what?
And I had a list of like 4 or 5, it was like 5 or 6 boy names that were really unique.
Just in case.
Yeah, but I told myself, you're not getting another Gary. I tell you that.
You probably had like two boy names
and a list of girls. Exactly. I had girl names with middle names. Like I was prepared.
Oh,
but the thing is, Gia was like last on my list. But I don't know why. I think it wasn't like on purpose. It was just like one of those names I had just randomly thought of. Mm-hmm. And when everyone was like, when I told people like, we're going to go with a G name, they were like, let's go. Why don't you go with Gianna? And I was like, no. And they're like, why? I was like, well, Kobe and Gianna just passed away. Mm-hmm. They just got in that accident. If I name my baby Gianna, that's all I'm going to think about. That's all I'm going to think about.
But people going to think, she named her after that.
And I was like, and I'm going to be sad all the time. Like, no. So I was like, I remember a little girl at my church. Her name was Gia, and I loved that name. So I talked it over to him. He was like, yeah, I like that name. I like it. And I was okay. So we ended up telling his mom, and she was like, I'm still calling her Gianna. I was like, you can call her that, but her name's going to be Gia. Like, I don't know what to say.
People going to think, so is Gianna your full name?
Right. Like, no, it's not. And the funny thing is, like, people try to, like, make it so complicated. I'm like, it's Gia, Gia. And they're like, is it G-E-A? Is it G-Y? No, I'm not. No extra.
It's so it's real simple.
Exactly. But I was like, Gia Leanne. So, and I've had people tell me, that sounds country. Like, okay, everyone's going to have something to say about my kid's name, but you're right. At least it doesn't. At least you can't tell her ethnicity.
Right.
But that was my goal.
Right.
But, yeah, and then my pastor's wife always said, like, be careful what you name your children because names have meanings. Right. And you don't want to name your child something that has, like, a negative meaning. Right. And then that's how they start acting. That's how their spirit is and stuff like that.
Very true.
So Gia means God's gracious gift. Oh, okay. And so I was like, okay, we can go with that. That's cool. So that's what we named him.
Well, I didn't really look up Daniel's name because Daniel
he in the Bible already. Yeah, he already in the Bible. He defeated the lion.
That part. So I didn't have no hesitation. Like, okay, you want a junior? And I think that's probably why I was like, okay, if you want a junior, that's fine. Yeah. Because I'm like, I already knew the story with Daniel and the Lions then. So
exactly.
My baby good with his name being Daniel. But that's very true though. Mm-hmm. Like, and I think a lot of people don't realize that, and a lot of people probably don't
think
about it either, because they just think if the name is cute.
Exactly.
Like they don't look at like for the actual meaning behind it. But that's something that's another question for you guys. When you guys named your kids, did you guys look for a name that had like meaning behind it, or did you just look to say, oh, this name is cute
or unique,
right,
or whatever?
So,
because I do know some people that have named their children names that are spelled differently or unique names, and I'm just like, hi.
Remember, your baby got to spell their name. Now,
right.
When they get older, they have to spell their name. And you don't want it to be complicated.
Right.
And no judgment if you did.
No, not at all.
That's
your
completely
choice.
Up to you. That's why we said we want to make this interactive.
Right.
And tell us why.
Because my name is not very common. I mean, to me, I don't think, when I was growing up, I only know two other Janices. I was named after one, and then another girl. But I didn't know how to spell my name when I was younger. My mom had to make a whole song for me to spell my name.
Really?
Yeah, you want to hear it?
Yeah, tell the people what that song was. Go ahead, girl.
So it was Janiece. My name is Janice, but they call me Nene. So that's how I used to.
Is that how you got Nene?
That's how I got Nene. So I used to. Well, my grandpa nicknamed me Nene, but that's my mom put it in the song. And when I was in kindergarten, I used to go Jani. That's how I learned how to spell my name. Other than that, I probably would have been stuck. I'm so serious.
But it's not bad. It's actually a good little tune to it, though. So there's nothing wrong with that, because, well, you know, you're the only Janice I know, but I don't think Janice is like. Okay, if I saw your name, I wouldn't be like, oh, I know what race she is.
Right. But for me, it was more like, all my siblings have
common names.
If I can put it, common Caucasian names.
Okay, yeah.
And mine is definitely not. Like, you can kind of.
Well, maybe they were kind of like, maybe your parents were like, let's try something different. Maybe
girl, they could have tried they could have tried after me.
But I mean,
I'm the youngest.
I'm not, you're the baby. I was like, wait a minute.
Don't experiment with me, shoot.
But like, it came out good.
You right,
it came out good.
I was actually named after like one of the sweetest ladies I've ever met in my life at my church.
Oh,
and
see?
So
look, and then you named Gia after a little girl from your church.
Exactly.
Look at that.
Yeah.
See?
But yeah, names have meanings, and that's. I just remember my pastor's wife always saying that. Like, anytime she preached, that's what she always preached on family and children and all that stuff. And she was always like, name your kids after something like with a good meaning.
Right.
Name your boys after something with a strong meaning. And so that resonated with me when I had Gia. So
that's good.
Yeah.
That's some good information.
Yeah. Also,
you guys, please interact with us. Subscribe to our channel here on YouTube. Share. Also, look, you see the other platforms we are on: iTunes, Spotify, you go, Anchor, Google Podcasts, Breaker, Radio Public, and I think there's one other one. I can't think of the name of it. But those are the ones. And I know a lot of people have iTunes and for sure Google Podcasts and Spotify. Like, those are more popular that I know a lot of people go on. So you guys, if you guys don't pull up on YouTube, pull us up on other platforms, listen to us, subscribe to our channel here. But interact with us and let us know. Like I said, drop the comments below. Send us a comment on Instagram at mommy.mentions. Email is at mommy.mentions@gmail.com. And then Twitter is mommymentions. Just communicate with us, interact with us. Like I said, we're going to have some more interaction videos, or podcasts, I should say. We just want to kind of get the conversations going and see what your thoughts are. If you guys have some topics that you want us to talk about, let us know. Send it in, email it in, send it on our social media platforms. Either way, this is just a podcast to kind of just talk about us being moms, you guys being moms, our experiences thus far. Let us know. Yep. But
thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening. Giveaways are coming. Oh, wait, our shirts. Oh. So we do have another design here. Awesome. And so at the bottom, it's kind of hard to see, I think, a little bit because we have like, mine is in royal blue because I have a boy.
And mine is purple because I have a girl.
And so at the bottom, it says, it's the mom in me.
And it's super mom.
So these are our new designs. Shout out to Humble Beginnings for making our designs.
Yes.
Kind of pushed him on this design because he was kind of getting a little frustrated, but kind of pushed him, and he actually did a dope job. He got our initials on our sleeves as well. This is something that we're going to start doing on our merchandise as well, so look out for our merch. We will let you know once we start dropping it. It should be probably within the next couple of weeks or so, or just look out for it. We're going to let you know for sure when we're going to drop it and give you some pricing if you guys are interested. Let us know about that. We're going to try to have on a different design each podcast. That's our plan.
We're going to try.
Right. That's our plan. And we try to. So if you see us, recycle some designs, just kind of so you guys can see it and see what's available. We might do so just so you guys know what we have. So thanks again, you guys. Thanks again for watching
and listening.
Subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Share.
And once again, follow us on our platforms.
Thank you, guys.
Peace.
We out.